Breaking news, a major retailer is about to automatically deduct all post-audit claims under $100,000, and that could have a significant impact on your bottom line. We'll talk about it next on The Savvy Supplier. Welcome into The Savvy Supplier, where we save you time and money. I'm Al Frank, alongside Boyd Everett, the CEO and co-founder of HRG. Boyd, we got some big news to share. Sam's Club is beginning to automatically deduct all post-audit claims under $100,000. So any deductions under the threshold of $100,000 will automatically go through without any prior research. I'm wondering, what's your reaction to that news?
Well, I think that's just one more point along a continuum. I mean, retailers have been doing this auto deduct since the 1990s. It started out relatively low, $1,000 or $2,000 in the 90s, and then it was up to, I think it was like $10,000 around 2005, 2008, and then it went up to 20. Walmart went to 100K several years ago, and so not surprised to see Sam's at that point, and also other retailers are doing this as well. What is amusing to me is one AP manager told me that for the most part, almost all of their deductions under 100K were solid because the repayment rate was so low. And I had to remind her that perhaps they were just slow to repay, or the supplier / vendor was chasing other money, larger sums. And so just because your repayment rate is lower under 100K or under whatever threshold you choose doesn't necessarily mean they're all valid. But again, getting back to the Sam's Club news, no, Sam's Club now aligns with the Walmart side. So again, I'm not surprised to see it, although I think there'll be some suppliers that are going to be surprised to see it because they would have been used to having an opportunity to review it and dispute it. Now they're going to have to review it and perhaps request for a repayment, which opens up another can of worms.
And this is happening without notice. So this rise from 20,000 to 100,000 may come out of the blue for a lot of people. How can a supplier tell if they're actually incurring these deductions? What are the best ways for them to check right now?
Great question. So historically, you would have received an email, but just to remind some of the folks out there that Walmart Sam's moving the post audits to the co-op system. And so I would say that routinely you need to check your co-ops to see if there's any deductions. Now, on the Sam's Club side, typically there's not as much movement in the terms of the cost in retail. Typically they're around one-time buys or maybe a trailing credit for a promotion. So just because you don't think there's anything in the co-op system for you, I would highly recommend them is to check in at least weekly to see what's there. Because the last thing you want to do is head into month end and suddenly have several deductions hit. And you wouldn't know that until it hits a check if you're not checking inside the co-op system or inside High Radius is another place to check for those deductions.
So if they check and if there are automatic deductions, it sounds like there's no formal way to appeal, but is there kind of an informal means to at least a discussion about these deductions?
Yeah, so I think what you can do is as you prevail on some of these deductions, I think you might be able to persuade the auditors on the other side to perhaps give you a heads up on future deductions, just because for the most part, audit firms as well as retailers, they don't like to have a high level of repayment, which leads to another problem. This is directly impacting the P&L of the buyer. And so if you have a handful of these deductions, right, eventually you're going to get to $500,000 or even $1 million hitting in a given month. And so then repayment of those means 1 month is overstated by that amount. And then the next month, the repayment, now you're understating the P&L. So it's going to make reporting a little bit more problematic for those deductions that are consistently being repaid.
Might there be some best practices training that could help shield a supplier from some of these?
Yes, certainly. So I think one of the best places to start is making sure you're extremely clear on your proposals and your agreements, because that's often where The auditors are going to look to see, did you forget to include a certain item? If there's a sell-through promotion where you're giving them so much per sale during a period of time, sometimes a supplier might just be offering a handful of items within a family of items, and the auditor might notice that some of the clubs might be offering the lower retail to more than those items that are in that collection. And so they'll say, you forgot to include that item. Clarity in your communication with the buyer is extremely important. And then I think just another rule of thumb, anytime your cost and retail change, I would anticipate potential claims being filed later on. One of the key areas that auditors look for when they're auditing is what changed. Did the cost change? Did the retail change? Did the orders change, or the dating of those orders? And so like a back to school order coming through, they might get extended dating, and they might expect that extended dating on other items which aren't included. So if you're not clear in your agreements, then you're going to spend more time in the co-op and high radius systems looking for deductions.
You mentioned that Walmart had previously done this, and now Sam's Club is mirroring the 100K auto deductions. Do you think other retailers might follow suit and do the same thing?
Absolutely. I think one of the issues that we're facing right now in this economy is uncertainty. And the longer some of these back and forth negotiations over these claims take, then it's a delay in the retailers getting the revenue they think that it is owed them. And so one of the terms that you hear thrown around in these negotiations is speed to revenue. And so some of the retailers, I think, are looking for where that money can be pushed to the bottom line sooner. And so I would fully expect other retailers, if they're not at the 100K level, to be there. And perhaps some of the other retailers possibly looking at moving that level up to 120 or maybe 150K in the near future.
Seems like another reason that suppliers might want to seek out HRG for some help.
Absolutely. We give suppliers that visibility across multiple categories and multiple retailers. The retailers all get together once a year at different functions surrounding accounts payables. Controllers get together, and they're often discussing best practices and, again, the speed to revenue. HRG would certainly give them the same sort of support from the other side, helping them understand some of the trends that are going on in other categories that might be coming to the category that they're in.
Well, thank you, Boyd, for your insights today. Always really helpful. You know, the experts at HRG are able to take a look at your particular situation, and we can help you get a clearer picture of what you need to do right now. You can schedule a free strategy call by going to the HRG website at hrg-audit.com, hrg-audit.com, or you can call HRG at 479-616-1600. You can also email us at info@hrg-audit.com. We are ready and able to help you. And our wish for you is this: wiser decisions, fewer deductions. See you next time on The Savvy Supplier.